And welcome. Today we're taking a look at some gorgeous antiques from the United States. Some people would force me to call these vintage, but they are getting up there in age, and I think the art pottery, especially American art pottery from the turn of the 20th century, that's certainly an antique category at this point. So, some really lovely pieces that we'll take a look at, and frankly, I think prices that are starting to look kind of soft. It is interesting. This is sort of a marginal side of the antiques market. Certainly, we're taking a look at the North Dakota School of Mines today and some of the items that have recently been sold. North Dakota School of Mines, very famous pottery school. Um, a couple really renowned potters. Margaret Cable comes to mind, including, and you have this one done by Julia Mattson. And there's a couple others that are pretty big names out there. And the North Dakota School of Mines is interesting. It sort of sits a little on its own. It kind of has these unique designs in the Art Nouveau, arts and crafts, and early Art Deco era that are, of course, influenced by being in North Dakota at the turn of the 20th century, which is just different than the Ohio Valley, where a lot of these uh, mid or early 20th century American art potters were located. So we take a look here at this uh, green 1920s Julia Mattson vase, and you can see in the close-up that the uh, coloring and stylization is just exquisitely done. The form is very nice, and you have sort of this ribbed effect all the way around. And it's really just a nice piece of art pottery that would look great almost anywhere. And this one appears to be in a rather nice condition, which is always nice to note. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this for a second in the hopes that YouTube will let me use it as the thumbnail. And of course I could always just make it the thumbnail, but we're not a big fan of extra work. And it's always a nice reminder. We love doing this for folks, so if you enjoy antiques, if you enjoy American art pottery, make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We love to update with the things that pass through internet sales sites and just keep our finger on the pulse. So here you have the really standard marking for North Dakota schools of mines from Grand Forks, and you actually have the artist signature there as well. Good looking age to the base. And yeah, I mean, a good price for $550 best offer accepted. This looks like it was one of the highest items that had sold recently. And like I was saying, that price does feel a little soft, especially when we jump into some of these others. Now here we have what I think is really a piece that I rate, and frankly, I'm kind of shocked at the price. Um, the $337 hammer price for this pitcher is underwhelming, frankly. I would think that's a pretty good deal on a piece made by Margaret Cable, who's one of the more famous individuals to be in residence at the North Dakota School of Mines. And we have a rather nice floral rim decoration. I wonder if these pictures could have been better lit to encourage more buyers. It does seem like there are some cracks that we're not really getting good full visual on that might have shied some other folks away from this. And looking at the base, it does look a little bit later, perhaps 30s or 40s, but still a lovely piece. And, it really has that great uh, early 20th century pottery green color that was so in vogue in the Art Nouveau and Art Deco period. And I said, let's see, between 13 and 49, yeah, I would think it's mid to latter end of that. And if we check it out, the starting price of $95, bidding all the way up to $337, is a good result for the auction. Um, but I think I would want to see this at around $600 or $700. Now I might be a little off my rocker depending on the size, but these items are rather rare. So here we hop right into another Julia Mattson piece that was best offer accepted under $115, and they list it with no cracks. And we have the lid as well. And you see some of the advertisements up here for other pieces by North Dakota School of Mines, so you can see how this sold price is actually quite soft compared to what the average is listed for. And this is a nice looking little pot with a lid that would fit a lot of different decorative circumstances. I rather like the sort of brick terracotta type color that it has. And again, we've got the Julia Mattson mark on the bottom, as well as the UND School of Mines tag or stamp on the bottom, and just lovely gradient from bottom to top, and the same on the lid. This is a really nicely made piece. For potentially $100 or less, seems like a really great deal. Now here's one that I really enjoy, and I'm just such a sucker for the matte green, gradient greens that come out of the earliest 20th century. And at 8 inches tall, this is a pretty good shape. It says we have a hairline crack on the interior. I'm going to guess that that is imaged. So hopefully we can see that. Yes, there is the crack. That's not so bad. That's not so good, but you know, of all these items, there are less and less all of the time, and looks like we have another Julia Mattson piece here. And do we mark that in? So we do not, which means this might have been an actual pretty good buy for whoever picked it up, if they were able to identify that and stamp it on there. Even with the hairline crack, I would like to see this closer to $150. Starting at $10, not bad, not bad. And lastly, we have this more worn North Dakota Art Pottery School of Mines piece. Has this great cream color to it, and it looks like it's been scratched and scuffed up a little bit over the years. It doesn't bother me too much. Some people might not like that, but I am a little bit more about the form of these items than necessarily their condition, and I think this form is exquisite. I really liked this ribbed top up here. It gives a little extra sense of the work that was put into it, and the shape is just so symmetrical, and this is a wonderfully made pot in my opinion. The marks that come with age, I think they add character, but again, to each their own. You don't need to collect stuff just because I think it looks good. And you know, I kind of get a lot of the same pictures here where it really does look like this has been through some things in its life, and we get a good idea of the size with the hand there in the background. Looks like it's about 5 inches tall. Do we note here? We do not. That's okay. And here we get the bottom. I'm not sure what this marking is made out to be, but it could be traced back to possibly an individual artist. And again, we get the North Dakota School of Mines stamp. Now, it's interesting to note that these prices seem soft. The sold seems soft. I'm not sure what that means for the wider collectibles market, but I'll certainly be keeping my eye on some of these American art potters. If they are going to go down in price, it might be time to start buying some of the more exquisite pieces. You know, I would think this at $91, even with a hairline crack, 8 inches is substantial for a vase like this that somebody would actually use for flowers or something, or some sort of small display. I've got to think $91 is a great deal. But to each their own. Some people might want to find deals elsewhere. But anyways, I really appreciate folks stopping by today. If you enjoy the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, drop the like, and let us know which of these you think was your favorite, and we'll be happy to hear what you have to say. So have a great day, folks.